Still asleep at the wheel, how Communist China turned rare earths into a weapon. Commentary. In early October, the Chinese Communist Party announced it would withhold its rare earth minerals from the world via newly placed export controls. The changes will make the process more laborious, and the CCP will have more of a say over who gets what. America, for its part, seemed perplexed by China's actions. President Donald Trump reacted with fury and shock at China's move, writing, "It is impossible to believe that China would have taken such an action." Eventually, the two sides came to a deal in which China would put the changes on pause, but only for a year. From a realist perspective, China's move is completely reasonable. China has about 70% of all rare earth minerals on the planet and upwards of 80% of rare earth mineral processing. As their economy does not revolve around rare earths, they do not desperately need to sell those minerals and can instead go forward with a drip, starving their adversaries while rewarding their allies. It is also in line with historical communist economic warfare, which always seeks to have an edge in its long-term battle to achieve worldwide communist domination. From an American perspective, this is a nightmare. Rare earths are crucial for almost all major electronics. And in the early 1990s, America was the dominant rare earth supplier. But a misguided belief that opening markets to the CCP would produce a democratic China, and that the post-Cold War unipolar moment would never end, resulted in the US government allowing China to purchase rare earth mineral processing companies in the middle of that decade. But Beijing understood that it was not the end of history and that unipolarity would end. When multipolarity arrived, the CCP would have the world on a string. Fast forward to the mid-2020s. Multipolarity has arrived, and the CCP has the world on a string. Or at least, they think they do. Because while the world needs them, the CCP's strategy only works if the world continues to play by old rules like outsourcing and relying on China for practically everything. Just as the Soviet Union before them, Chinese communism can only win if the world plays by their rules. As Trump administration officials have said outright, the world is now multipolar, meaning they recognize that we are in a new game, with new rules. But the CCP will still seek to use its communist ideology, combined with the country's massive population and technical capabilities, to bend the new reality to its will. Fortunately, there are signs that America is seeking to do likewise. President Trump recently hosted the Australian Prime Minister and agreed to a rare earths deal, opening up alternatives to CCP dominance. And the Trump administration has pursued a robust tariff program, which hails almost directly from the multipolar world of William McKinley and Theodore Roosevelt. But these actions can go further. To undo the mistakes of the past few decades and end America's reliance on Chinese communism, there must be a sustained commitment, derived purely from national interest, to create a web of nations that wish to break the CCP's hold over rare earth markets. Fortunately, the groundwork for action has been laid. The One Big Beautiful Bill encouraged domestic development in rare earths, and bilateral agreements signed with Australia, Japan, Malaysia, Thailand, and Cambodia all have resulted, at least partially, in agreements to develop and sell rare earths. The G7 itself has also launched a series of investments into rare earth development. Congress, too, has gotten in on the action, with a series of pending bipartisan bills like the Restoring American Mineral Security and the Minerals Security Partnership Acts, which would require the government to secure our rare earth supply chains and coordinate efforts to economically box the CCP in. Combined with updates to President Trump's USMCA, we can also work with our allies in this hemisphere as well. Within the existing framework, we can increase supply chain transparency and boost processing and extraction capacity. This would boost domestic industry and competitiveness for the continent, where the main competitor is China, even in North America. Forward-thinking plans like these are essential, because so far, the deals that have been struck are just promises. They're impressive deals, to be clear. But until the United States has the minerals in hand, the government should not check that item off the to-do list. The CCP has pursued its plan to dominate rare earths relentlessly, and they pursued it with focus. The United States of America is starting the multipolar era off as the most powerful country, but in rare earths, China has us beat. To secure this massive hole in our hull, the United States must likewise act relentlessly and focused. This, at the beginning of multipolarity, is a test for the United States. Will it free itself from the Chinese communist yoke? Or will it remain a party to the CCP's wishes? America has networks of allies desiring to get out from under the CCP's thumb. We should oblige them.